is the thing most of you love about my videos the most, or about the live streams, and that's the open live stream. So you can ask me anything about any topic related to the Czech Republic, like immigration, so visas, residence permits, permanent residency, citizenship, all that. Starting a business, getting a trade license, finding accommodation, getting health insurance, bringing your family, coming here as a student, whatever questions you might have. I'm here for the next 20 minutes to answer those. You can, of course, have some personal questions as well, which might be sometimes interesting, but usually not really useful to others. So, but it's Ask Me Anything live stream. So if you have any personal questions, you can ask them as well. Usually with live streams like this, it takes around 2 minutes until people start like joining the live stream. So I will be just meanwhile weirdly drinking water here. Durya Mangat, hello. Manoj Kumar, hello. Hi guys, thank you very much for joining. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them into the comments or the chat or however it's called. And when more people join, it usually starts, the questions start popping out and I start answering, and then there is usually a long list of questions and I answer one by one. So today's the day again. I'm all yours for the next 18 minutes, let's say. So Manoj, I'm looking for a job as a chef. I'm not sure if there is a question. Maybe you will continue with the question. Maybe tell me a bit more about where are you from, like if you are already in the Czech Republic, you're not here yet, a bit more about the situation so I can react somehow. Abdul Wadud, how can I find my TIN tax identity number? I have a trade license. Well, you don't find it, you have to request it. I believe that you send an email saying that you have done the trade license and now you just need the tax number. That's not really how it works. You need to get yourself registered with the tax office. You need to get yourself registered with the Social Security. You get all the details, how to pay, where to pay, all that. So yeah, if you want to get the tax number, you need to get it from the tax office. Namania Steven, hello. Hey Namania. Isaac Yusuf, nice to chat with you again. My wife is coming on long-term reunification visa. Does she need to register with the MOI or the foreign police? Yeah, definitely if she's coming under a long-term visa, well, I mean, she should officially register with both. Foreign police is like 100% mandatory because that's given by the immigration law. And especially if she stays with you, because coming to reunite with you, then she definitely needs to go herself. If she was staying in a hotel or something, then the hotel registers her. But if she stays in your place, she definitely needs to go to the foreign police. The Ministry of the Interior, you should go there as well, or she should go there as well. But that's mainly, the reason for that is for them to kind of activate the visa in the system. And second thing is that the ministry approved the visa, but the visa was issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, by the embassy. So the authority, the Ministry of the Interior, who approved the visa, actually does not have a record of the visa because it's in the system of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So what you do when you go to the MOI to get registered is that they put the visa into the system, and in case you lose your passport, for example, they're able to reissue the visa into the passport. If you don't go to the Ministry of the Interior, nothing much will happen. But if you lose the passport, you will never be able to get the visa again because the Ministry of the Interior will not have it in their records. Durya, I have applied for a long-term study visa in Czech Embassy from Pakistan. I didn't get any reply from Embassy yet, as they told me they're waiting for the reply from the Ministry. Yes, that's how it works. As I mentioned now, the embassies do not make the decisions. It's the Ministry of the Interior that makes the decisions. So even asking the embassy about your status or what's going on and stuff like that makes no sense because they don't know unless the Ministry of Interior tells them. Amrita Prosad Das, what asking in Czech interview? I've done a couple videos about that. It depends on the visa you're applying for. But if you go to my channel, I don't know how you get there. Somewhere you click something, you get there. I actually don't know. But when you get there, you go to the live stream, so and just search for Czech interview, and you'll find a couple of videos that explain exactly that. So you're from India, you're looking for a job. If you're not here yet, I would recommend trying a different country, maybe Poland, because coming here from India is basically impossible. Or it will be possible for a cook if your employer is registered in one of the governmental programs, but it will take like 2 years for you to get here. So the question is if it's worth it for you or not to wait 2 years to get the visa or even apply for it or not. You will probably get to get a visa in Poland, and then if you are in Poland for 2 years, you can go apply for the Czech employee card in Dresden in Germany, and that will probably be faster than trying to go directly to the Czech Republic from India. It's crazy in India. It's very difficult to get here to work. So Duria, my interview is done 1st of August and my class is starting from 23rd September. Well, the ministry has 60 days to make the decision, so they officially have until the end of September. So, and they don't care anyway. You know, if they have 60 days, it can be done in 2 weeks, it can be done in 7 months or never. So, yeah, they don't really care where you start. They don't. But I would recommend asking the school if you can start later, that your visa has been in process, and if you can start later and how much later. Definitely communicate this to the school, because the thing you don't want to happen is that the school will like not longer have you as a student in their records because you missed some deadline for like starting the school or something, and then when the ministry contacts them, they will say that okay, no, she's not a student anymore. And then your visa will be denied. So definitely communicate this with school and find out how they look at this, if you can start later or not. AR. Hello, I have a question. My question is, I'm gonna get my master's diploma soon and I have full-time job contract, but the company is not sponsoring for my visa. Find a different company. I would probably do that. There is no reason for them to not sponsor you because they don't need to do anything. Basically, if you're getting master's diploma from the Czech Republic, then you're also getting free access to the labor market. So the company does not need to advertise the position to the labor office. You don't need the vacancy number, nothing like that. So for them, it's basically just giving you the employment contract, which you probably already have anyway. So there is nothing they would really need to do in regards to your application. So if they tell you you cannot get the employee card with our help or something, find a different company. On the other hand, you don't really even need them if you have the Czech diploma, because you can apply for the employee card with the current employment contract you have, and they kind of don't even need to know about that. Papiskova, hello, I just saw on the Ministry of the Interior's website that my visa has been rejected, or the procedure is closed. I don't know the reason for the rejection since I had 6,100 euros in my bank. Well, you will not know until you get a letter from the Ministry of the Interior. They usually prepare the letter, they send it to the embassy, and then the embassy sends it to you. Without that, you will not know. Without that, you cannot really do anything. You cannot make an appeal. Make no sense even to try again, because you don't know what was the problem. So you definitely need to wait for the letter, and there will be the reasons explained. If the money is not the problem, I've done a video called 3 most common reasons for visa denial or something like that. And if the money is not the reason, then it's your motivation to study here. Namania Steven, I'm in Africa. Is it possible to get job offer and work visa in Czech Republic? I would not try that. Most likely you will get scammed and you will never get to the Czech Republic. So unfortunately, for most African countries, Czech Republic is not the place to try to apply for a visa, because That's very difficult. There are quotas at basically all embassies in Africa. Czech embassies in Africa, they all have quotas, unless maybe, I don't know, I missed one or something, but they generally have quotas and it's super difficult to get some appointment. So most likely you will pay someone 3, 4, 2, whatever, €1,000 to get you the work permit or employment contract, but you will never be able to use it. So yeah. Duria, and also I don't have the references. I check the status of my application. What should I do? Because they just gave me passport back and slips, nothing else. Sometimes it's on the slips, but you could potentially ask the embassy for that number if they have it, or you can also call the Ministry of the Interior and ask about your application number. So you can find out this way. But anyway, if you're approved, denied, if the ministry needs anything, the embassy will let you know. So just keep checking. Keep checking your spam folder or the whatever it's called. I don't know, like the in Gmail, like the bulk or whatever, the mass emails. I don't know. They have different folders, so check them out because embassies sometimes fall under these weird folders. Amrita, thank you so much. You're welcome. Engineer Liban, my student visa application passed 90 days and there is no decision yet. What do you think? Also, this problem is not only mine, but also another student's. Yes, that's what I mentioned. The ministry does not really care. Like one thing, of course, let's say, I will not be telling exact numbers, okay? But let's say normally every month, 1,000 people all around the world apply for their visas. But when the student time comes, which is say July, August, September, October, then it goes from 1,000 to 3,000 a month, okay? So that's a big jump in application. So of course they have way more work, so it can take longer. On the other hand, the ministry does not really care anyway. You know, the deadlines, they by the law, they have 60 days, or for some visas, they have 60 to 90. They have 90 to 120, doesn't matter. It's very often that they don't stick to that. They are way later after the deadlines. Sometimes it takes years before they approve some types of applications. Sometimes it takes months, like 6, 7 months for students and family reunification, all that. So yes, that's how it works. Another thing though is that I've mentioned that a couple times, but you need to understand one thing, that the embassy does not make the decision. They only take the documents from you and then they physically ship them to the Czech Republic. So if you applied in Pakistan, it can take 3 weeks before your documents even get to the Ministry of the Interior and before someone starts working on your application. So if you applied 3 weeks ago, you're waiting, you're anxiously waiting, like why, what's the result and what's my application about. It's very likely that your application is somewhere in an envelope on its way to the Czech Republic. So there are many factors, but generally the ministry does not really care about any deadlines. That's the standard situation there. Abdul, for my trade license, can I use my personal bank account? Yes, but you need to be, officially you need to be able to tell if the tax office asks you, you need to be able to tell and kind of prove what is your business income and what is your personal income. If you're able to do that, you can use your personal account. If it would be complicated or you want to have these incomes separate, then you can easily get a freelancer account with some banks. Matthew, hi, my employee card submission finished. Abu Dhabi Embassy, unskilled job. I'm waiting for visa 1 month finish. Yeah, what's the question there? As I mentioned, it takes officially 60 to 90 days to get an employee card decision. First 3 weeks, nothing most likely will be happening because your application will be traveling. So maybe it just now arrived to the ministry and someone started checking it. And even then, the ministry does not really care. So you can get the decision within the 60-90 days, maybe, but you might also not hear from the ministry for the next 6 months. So Yeah, depends on your employer, depends on the documents you submitted, depends on the backlog of applications, the season, the decision maker that gets your case, because there are people. So sometimes people get sick, sometimes they go for holiday, and usually no one cares or no one takes care of the applications, because each of the people working at the ministry, I can imagine they have like plenty of their cases. So the files will be waiting for the person to get back to work from holidays or whatever. So yeah. But in mid-July, I saw a website that visas have been approved. Yeah, again, as I mentioned now, it also depends on the concrete decision maker who's making the decision about your case. So some decision makers work faster, some decision makers work slower, some might go for holidays, some might get sick. And also sometimes they request documents, for example, from your school. And if the school doesn't reply, then they don't do anything because they're waiting for the reply. So it depends on many factors. The fact that someone applied at the same day as you doesn't mean that you will be approved the same day as them. Nicola Capanadze. Hello, today I finished my second interview for student visa. Guys, all of you who are applying for student visas, once you get approved, get in touch with us and we'll be happy to send you the best quotes for students for insurance, because we work with 6 different insurance companies and we get the best prices for them. And also, if you get health insurance through us, you will get 30 minutes free immigration consultation, or it doesn't have to be immigration, it's just with one of our advisors, with me or Daria or someone else from our team. And you can use the consultation for anything, like how should I get registered with the foreign police, or how do I go to the ministry, or how do I extend my visa, or stuff like that. So for every insurance you get from us for the best possible prices, you also get the free consultation. So once you get approved, guys, get in touch. I'll be happy to send you the quotes. But that wasn't the question. What was the question? Second interview, student visa, general 40 questions, paper, and in embassy workers were laughing with me about these questions because they were so repetitive. We answered everything correctly. What are my chances and when to expect reply? That's hard to say, because it's hard to say if you answered correctly. But generally speaking, if you answered well, then the approval comes pretty fast. I would say within a week or 2 maximum. If they don't find the answers good, let's say, then it will take longer because they need to, or it might take longer because they need to write the letter explaining the reasons for denial. Usually it's bullshit. So they need to figure out what to write there. So it sounds at least somehow reasonable, and that takes time. So yeah, good luck. Good luck. Idovu Madabuchukwu. I have free access to the Czech labor market, but I lost my job in July. I read that I have 3 months to get a new employer from Brno Expat Center. I would like to confirm the information. Honestly, I haven't checked this in the new version of the law, but there was not really a deadline like that for free access to the labor market. For normal employee cards, it's 60 days. And we always recommended our clients to stick to 60 days anyway, just to be like super sure, because it wasn't really mentioned clearly in any parts of the law. So I'm not sure if anything changed, because there were things that changed with the blue card, where it depends on something, if it's 3 months or 6 months, how long you can be without a job. So I would need to double check that. I honestly don't know from top of my head. But if you could maybe share the article with me, if you just get in touch via email or something, or if you just comment it under the video, that will be perfect, because maybe they quote some part of the law or something and I can go directly check it and then reconfirm. MD, Czech Republic, I'm get work permit from Qatar Embassy, data not found. I talk about it every live stream I do. Don't buy any work permits or anything like that from anyone, because you will most likely get scammed, and people still do it. So I don't know what else to say about it. Just share this information, guys. Don't pay anyone. Like, how can you pay someone like 3,000 euros, 5,000 euros, even 2,000 euros, and not ask them if you will be able to get an appointment, if you will be able to get the employee card? And if they tell you, yeah, you need to deal with this part on your own, we don't do that, then you probably know that something is not right there. So guys, share this information. Don't pay anyone like 3,000 euros for an employment contract if you have no certainty you will be ever able to use it. Outdoors fan, can US students come into the Czech Republic for internship, get student rates for insurance? Depends on the insurance company. Generally speaking, if they have like a proper student discount, that would not be proper. If they have a proper student discount, then you cannot get it if you're not a student, because they usually want you to submit the confirmation of studies from the university to the health insurance company. So if you don't study, then you cannot get it. But there are some companies that they say that they do student discounts, but that's actually just age discount. If you're below 30, you get some special price and you don't have to be a student. Because for most companies anyway, the student prices are limited by the year of 30 of your age. Above that, even if you are a student, you cannot get the better prices. So it depends on the company, but generally if you don't study, you don't get student discounts. Devin, how do I get work permit from Nepal? Don't do it. I have just talked about it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Choose a different country to move to. Makes no sense. From Nepal, you will only get scammed. You will never get here. So like under an employee card. Of course, if you have high qualification, if you have at least bachelor's degree and your salary will be at least what? Say 4,000, no. 3,000, 4,000, whatever, 3,000 euros, then okay, you can apply for a blue card and you have a chance. But if your salary is below that, or your education, or both, then makes no sense to even try. Definitely don't pay anyone like 3,000 euros to get you a work permit, because that's a scam. Shekar, how to book appointment with the new booking system, because now it's random. New Delhi, India. Honestly, I don't know what's the new system now, because I don't work with clients anymore. I don't work cases. I do other things. I do sales, and I work in other. I still am finishing some cases, but I haven't had anyone lately in India, so I would need to ask my colleagues about that. What were the changes there? But honestly, I don't know. But it's been always random, honestly, in India. Matthew, now Indians, how many quota year employee card? I believe it's something around 1,000. It used to be 780 or 720. 720. I believe they increased it to 1,000, but that's only part of the problem, because the quota is 1,000 a year, which might sound like enough or a lot or whatever, but you can only apply for one of the 1,000 spots if your employer is part of the governmental program. If your employer is not part of the governmental program, the quota is 0, so you cannot apply at all. So the first thing is, or a first prerequisite is, that your employer must be enrolled in some of the programs for employers. And even then, there is only 1,000 spots. But for example, at any given moment, there are 2,000 people enrolled into the program. So what happens is that even if your employer is part of the governmental program, you might end up waiting for the appointment for 1.5 years, for example, because the quota of 1,000 people now is full, like 1,000 people in advance. So at least 1 year from now, it's completely booked. So you will not get an appointment within the next year. And then after that, when the new quota kind of starts, then you might get an appointment, but no one knows when. So there are a couple problems with the quota. It's not just about the number, but it's about other things as well. Devin, how many months we can change, after how many months we can change companies in the Czech Republic? It depends. Depends on what kind of residence permit you have and if you just got your first one or not. So for example, for the employee card, which is the most typical one, the first employer, you need to be with them for at least 6 months. If you just got the employee card, it's your first employee card, you start the job, then it's 6 months. And then once you pass the 6 months, you can leave and then you can potentially change your employers as much as you want. But one thing is that the Ministry of Interior always must approve that change. So that's like a month-and-a-half long process, let's say. And at some point it would start being a bit weird. You know, if you were changing employers like every 3 months, then at some point the ministry could start questioning that and they could make some trouble out of that. So I would probably not do that often, but under the first employee card, first 6 months, you must stay with the same employer. After that, technically no limitations. Okay guys, there are no other questions and it's been 26 minutes, even though I promised 20. So I'll be finishing live stream. I will answer the last question of Ellen. Sorry, just intrusive thought. Ellen McLean. And then I'll finish the live stream and we'll go home and sleep. Are there any one-year master degree programs in the Czech Republic recognized by the Ministry of Youth and Sports? Honestly, I don't know. I think that for masters, you always must have 2 years. But honestly, I'm not aware of any one-year program here. Okay, that's it. Omar, thank you for joining, Omar, even though we're just ending. And take care, good night, the same to you. And I will see you again, guys, on Monday, Thursday, until the end of the world. Good night. Bye-bye.